So would you say your music is more based on melody because of that? Or would you say you're like, where does your stance on production come from? Like, what do you like to focus on when you're producing? Where do you start a project?
Um, it's a funny question because musically, melody is what gets me fired up.
Okay.
That's my favorite part about music is melody, and that might sound like a really basic answer,
Hmm.
but in EDM, I mean, you can make such cool music with just the sound or just bass without like a bass line without even having much of a melody.
100%.
Um, so yeah, when I'm starting on a track and I'm looking for that inspiration, just trying to get into that state of flow, ironically, it isn't always melody that drives that. Sometimes it's just the way that a bass that I made sounds. And it's like this really low end resonant kind of hum that for some reason that'll get me more fired up than a cool melody. So it really, but sometimes it's the other way around. Sometimes it's a melody. So it depends on whatever I'm working on at the moment, I guess.
Gotcha. Okay, individually the tracks. Okay, then that segues me into talking again about your room. So, as a creative, and again, we can see how creative you are through your music. Have you just felt a lack of creativity in a visual aspect? Like, do you not feel as though like visual creative is your thing, or what is it that keeps you from? Because a lot of musicians, I feel like, use visual stimulus to get ideas for things and to work
Totally.
off of that, and it doesn't seem like that's something you do at all, or at least from the look of your room it doesn't seem like that's something.
I know it really is. It's laughable in here because it looks like it's just so bare. But um, I would say that I definitely invest a lot of effort into the artwork that I make for Ekonovah. So there is a visual
Right.
component. It's just that I don't necessarily care about the visuals around my physical space. I really just care about what I'm making. So if
Mm,
I'm working on a song, I care how that sounds. If I'm making visuals for one of my tracks, I care about how that looks.
hmm.
But when it comes to my room, I guess I don't have a lot of, it's just not a priority really. Because if I invest time into that, then I'm also investing some of my creative energy, and that might deplete my creative energy when I'm ready to work on a song, and I don't want to do that.
Interesting.
But I'll pan my camera over here. My girlfriend made me this, and that's the
Yeah.
only bit of art I have on my
That's the one
wall.
piece that you have in
Um,
there.
that's the only thing that is contrasting against the white walls. But
Right.
uh, something that I've always wanted to do, I just haven't really pulled the trigger yet. I would really love my studio space or whatever room I'm in to work on music. I would love just to decorate the walls with local art and not
Okay.
really much beyond that. Just support the artists in my community who are making really cool visual art and have no theme in my room whatsoever. Just local art. I think that would get me really fired up, but I
we'll
just
have
haven't done
to
that yet.
we'll have to get you a PO box at some point in time to make that happen, so people can just send over whatever they're
Ooh,
making, right?
I
That'd be the best way
love
to
the
decorate
sound
your
of
room, I
that.
think. um
I love the sound of that. Yeah, it'd be really cool to do that.
okay. When it comes to, so if you don't have visual stimulus that helps you come up with like song ideas and develop an idea for a track that you're making or a EP or an album, whatever it might be, what is your main source of stimulus? What gives you that initial like idea to start something?
Sometimes it's forced, but like sometimes you just sit down and you've had kind of a bland day, but
Right.
then I'll write something that I really like. But as I'm answering that way, I guess I'm kind of realizing that everything comes from something else. So from the day prior or a week prior, I might have seen something that was sparking inspiration like retroactively.
Okay.
Um, so I think really anything that you do that has any ounce of creativity or artistry to it can be reinvested into whatever creative endeavor you're doing. Or maybe it's not even an endeavor, maybe it's just even as simple as just like creative thinking or creative problem solving with something that isn't inherently or socially viewed as creative.
Okay.
But for example, I really been enjoying cooking lately. So I think cooking a little more audacious meals allows me to think a little differently when I come back and to work on a song. Or maybe I'll look for music that I wouldn't otherwise seek out, like genres that I wouldn't normally listen to,
Right.
or artists that I haven't heard before.
Right.
Um, Even just like cool YouTube videos that have kind of a nice artistic aesthetic to it. Just like anything that you consume or make that isn't your primary creative focus, I think can subconsciously like incubate, and then you can reinvest it later.
Okay. Okay. And then let's go into what do you have going on right now? What are you working on currently?
My primary focus as of maybe like a month or two ago has been my own vocals. I've been doing a lot of singing
Interesting.
and a lot of just my actual vocals, which I'm really excited about because it's so different for me, and it's still pretty new, and I don't even have a mic. Like I have an iPhone 6,
You're
and that's
recording
what I
with
used.
that?
It's what I put it
Wow.
in. I have a cupboard in my closet. I just surround the cupboard with blankets and pillows and
Right.
stuff the phone in there, and I get a half decent recording that way. And then it takes a lot of work to process it, but um, one of those tracks, in fact, the first one that I started that way, I finished it about a month ago, and then a week later, it already got signed, which I can't really talk about too many details there yet. But that's the fastest that I've ever written a song and then gotten it signed. That it was like immediate positive affirmation, which feels so good. But
Yeah.
I've just been working on a lot of lyrics and a lot of just original vocal melodies, singing in the shower a lot, just trying to get things percolating, just which I used to do,
Right.
and I stopped when I became a producer. I stopped singing in the shower, which is funny because when I was a kid, I would sing in the shower all the time. And then now that I'm doing more vocal stuff, I'm noticing that I'm singing in the shower again, just to keep ideas flowing.